Now it's unlawful. Everything's out of control. It's like living in the Wild West somewhere. The city is just bloody. It's filled with bloodthirsty people.
Well, we reached out to the mayor's office for comment. We have not heard back. Meantime, last week, Governor Hogan announced a slew of initiatives targeting the growing violence in the city, including demanding data from the city state's attorney's office, Marilyn Mosby's office, about the number of homicide cases dropped and the reasoning behind it. We're live tonight. Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
Keith, thank you. Well, Henry's story brings to mind the murder of 31-year-old Ephraim Gordon back in May. Gordon was visiting from Israel for his cousin's wedding when he was shot and killed on the doorstep of his relative's home. 3 suspects were arrested in connection with that murder.
In a city in crisis, police are looking for whoever's responsible for a mass shooting in East Baltimore. 7 people, as we mentioned at the top of the newscast, including a 16-year-old, were hurt in that shooting on North Montford Street last night. Commissioner Michael Harrison says someone opened fire on a group yesterday afternoon. Police say evidence indicates more than one gun was used, but it's not clear if that means someone returned fire or if the suspect used multiple guns. The gun violence continued today. 2 people were hurt in separate shootings. This is a look at the latest scene. A 28-year-old man was shot along McHenry Street in South Baltimore. There have been 658 non-fatal shootings this year. That's on pace to see more than 700 non-fatal shootings for the 3rd year in a row.
In the face of the ongoing violence, Governor Larry Hogan is stepping in. As Keith mentioned, the governor called on Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby to explain crime statistics from her office, demanding data on homicide cases and plea deals. Today, we asked the governor about what his next steps could be when it comes to curbing city crime.
Would you put the city in any sort of receivership or emergency manager situation over the crime?
I'm not sure there's a way to do that legally. The only way would be to declare a state of emergency and take over, send in the National Guard. I don't anticipate that at this point. We're going to take every other action we can.
Meanwhile, the governor is putting pressure on the state legislature to pass his crime plans during the next week's special session. Right now, it's not clear if that'll happen. The governor tells Fox 45 he will meet with Mayor Brandon Scott to talk about the violence next week, marking their 2nd crime meeting this year. And while Governor Hogan is vocal about crime in Baltimore City, it's a pretty different story when it comes to the Baltimore City Council. Coming up in 15 minutes, the questions we're demanding answers to and the deafening silence from City Hall. And we want to know what you think.